When we look at the divided and dysfunctional state of our politics today, we can't say that George Washington didn't warn us. In his final farewell to the country, George Washington, our first independent president, I might add, warned that the alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, is itself a frightful despotism. Specifically, he warned that the mischiefs of the spirit of faction would serve to agitate the community with ill-founded jealousies and false alarms, kindle animosity of one part against another, and open the door to foreign influence and corruption. Alas, here we are, 220 years later, realizing the very worst fears of our founders. And I'm here today to talk about how we might overcome them. My argument is not that our two-party system is inherently bad or unworkable. In fact, our two-party system has worked reasonably well when both parties worked together. In the 20th century, for example, a majority of Democrats and a majority of Republicans came together to pass big pieces of legislation, whether it was enacting Social Security or reforming welfare. My argument is that our two-party system cannot function when the forces that divide us grow more numerous and more powerful than the forces that unite us. And that is where we find ourselves today. Now, when major pieces of legislation manage to pass, they are done so on party-line votes, producing suboptimal policy that is frankly unsustainable. Or we're simply stuck with government gridlock as the challenges that we confront simply compound with time. In this political environment, where to gain media attention or to raise money or to win votes, candidates must run to their respective extremes, we cannot expect the political parties to self-correct. They have little incentive to do so. No, we need a new outside force to bring us together and to unite America. We believe that force can be independent leaders running for and being elected to office. And there are three reasons why. The first is that independents in their campaigns can disrupt zero-sum politics. Because in a three-way race, any candidate can't just pander to their base and be against the other guy. They've got to come to the center and stand for something. In office, independent leaders can truly represent all of the people. They're not beholden to the party bosses or the special interests, and they're unrestrained by any rigid ideology. And the third reason is that in sufficient numbers, independent leaders can actually transform governance and bridge the partisan divide. We call this the fulcrum strategy, where a coalition of independents can actually deny both parties a majority and use their leverage as a swing vote to force cooperation and to force compromise. So can it happen? Well, it already is. In Alaska in 2016, 2 independents were elected, and they helped form a bipartisan governing coalition that now controls the Alaska State House. They helped break an impasse on dealing with the state's historically high budget deficit. And in Maine, 2 independents were elected in 2016 to the State House. Since then, several more incumbent legislators have unaffiliated. Those independents now control the balance of power, and they're working to find common ground on issues like Medicaid expansion. In 2014, I was a candidate for Congress as an independent, and I can tell you that the people are ready for this. They're ready for leaders who put country over party, who follow the facts, and who find common ground to get things done. But I can also tell you from firsthand experience that independent candidates are not going to be successful or even run in the first place if they have to start their campaigns from scratch without any institutional support. And that's why, to take this movement to scale, Unite America is building a grassroots network, donor community, and electoral infrastructure to help independent candidates run competitive campaigns and to level the playing field with both parties. This cycle, our work begins in Colorado, where we've recruited a slate of independent state House and state Senate candidates, and it will extend to supporting the first ever credible, competitive, and coordinated slate of US Senate and governor candidates in 2018. This movement will take several cycles to come to scale, but it can start with some early success in 2018. In closing, we cannot expect to solve all of the factors fueling party tribalism overnight. But we can, as another of our founders, James Madison, suggested in Federalist 10, focus on controlling their effects. And we can do so together by building a new vehicle for independent leaders who have the ability and the incentive and the leverage necessary to overcome the spirit of faction and to be a powerful, unifying force in an otherwise increasingly divided politics. I hope you'll join us. Thank you.